Hello and welcome to the Solano College Sports Network. My name is Cameron Anderson, and today we are going to be doing the Fairfield and Vacaville High School Football Preview Show of the Monticello Empire League. And today I'm joined by fellow analysts Blake Molina and Garrison Glenn, who will be on the calls this year. We're going to dive into each team, going over rosters, schedules, and more. So Blake, let's start off with the Rodriguez Mustangs.
Yeah, last season they were 7-4 overall, going 4-1 at home, playing very well at home. On the road, however, they were 3-3. It's still, 500, but that can obviously be better. Last season they had a first-time head coach. First game, he won 45-0, made a statement, and then after that went on to win 6 in a row. So I think this team has high hopes for the future, and they've already started the season off strong, winning their first opening game.
Yeah, with a couple of studs on the team. You have Leroy Bryant, who's going to Washington University, and you also have Malik Dawson, who's 6'2" at 235. That's insane at the D-line, and that's crazy to have on your team, on your roster. So hopefully they can turn around things, and then keep continuing to win off of this one-game win streak and hopefully make it more.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Leroy Bryant this year. He was a stud last year as a junior, just a lockdown corner. We're going to see him a lot at receiver this year because of some of the receivers they've lost. Another receiver, very explosive junior, is Jeremiah Hill, wears number 4, similar to Tyreek Hill. He's also going to play some defense at cornerback. Their middle linebacker, who's now a junior, was a sophomore last year. Trevor Cromie was really good. I think he led the team in tackles last year, 4.0 GPA, team captain, and was all-league MEL last season as a sophomore. Super impressive stuff. Malik Dawson, also the kicker and fullback, along with being the nose tackle for the Rod defense. And lastly, the senior offensive tackle, Devin Lakin, who's going to be a beast. And overall, I think the biggest games are going to be the league games. Like last year, they were 6-0, beat up on teams they probably should with Armijo and Fairfield, and some of their non-league games are pretty weak in comparison to other teams we've seen. It really came down to the games against Vanden Wood and Vacaville. Those are the teams that they're going to have to really beat. At least Vanden Wood, one of those teams, if they want to finish second in the MEL, because we'll get to it, but Vacaville's probably going to be there again. So let's jump to Armijo.
All right, Armijo last season unfortunately finished the season at 2-8, and they were 2-4 at home and then 0-4 on the road. So they had a very rough time on the road, and they're not only looking to bounce back, but in order for them to be successful, they need a little bit more than just a bounce back, since they haven't made the playoffs in over 56 years. It's been quite a while, but hopefully with their coach, Don Mosley, he feels very optimistic about this season, and he feels like they can have something, generate something. Probably not going to go like insanely crazy. If they do, then they do, but hopefully they can get something to basically just a fresh start of this year. They also have a few good pieces. They have Kaiba Washington, who just had a really, really crazy game. How many yards did he go for again? What was it, like?
It's over 100 yards.
It was over 100 yards, yeah. It was crazy. So he's a stud. And then their quarterback, Willie Nixon, is that what you say? You have some information on that one, right?
Yeah, so he's actually a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Coming in. So, you kind of have a chance to potentially build up, your future quarterback for the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Right.
And, somebody could come over, or maybe he doesn't work out. But, getting an extensive look at somebody like this, especially at the high school level, I think is a plus, and especially if he has the tools and he looks like he's ready to go to help the varsity team. This could be a guy we talked about, 2 years that he could be potentially a top prospect going into college. We just have to kind of wait and see how Armijo's plan with him kind of plays out, and see what their team and their season looks like as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kaiba Washington, really exciting player to watch. Last season, I think he was a junior. He was really good, and him and Leroy Bryant went at it when Rodriguez played Armijo. That was a great game, and both of them wearing number 1. I remember broadcasting that game. It was a shootout between those two. At receiver and corner, they were guarding each other, which was really cool. Another thing, Don Mosley, he was a D1 college player, offensive guard. played with Patrick Willis and Michael Orr, so should have a lot of knowledge trying to turn this program around. Like you said, 15 straight losing seasons, haven't made the playoffs in 56 years, so hopefully some more optimism for this year.
It's quite a while.
Yeah. Let's go to Fairfield High School.
Yeah, well, Fairfield is, they didn't have the best season last year, 1-8 overall, 0-4 at home, and their only win last season came actually off a forfeit, and they only scored 7 points total last year. So, luckily though, new coach coming in, Alex Hubert, he played for the team. He holds the record with most catches in the season. When he was here in 2009 at Fairfield, he caught 117 catches and it still hasn't been broken to this day. So, getting a player with familiarity, especially in the program, I think that'll help. Obviously he's going to need guys to step in, guys to come in and kind of do what they need to do. But having a guy who's got football knowledge, especially of the program he used to play for, though, I think is always a plus. And, you have to root for the guy. Even if it's the Fairfield situation, you can't not root for someone like that. You want the hometown kind of guy to bring the team back.
Yeah,
and put it at its heights and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he played there and he was a former wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken, and so he at least knows how an offense is supposed to be run,
Right.
or that's the very least. And so hopefully he can bring some of that offensive mind to the forefront. That way they can at least look good and give the team a chance to be good.
And going off you just real quick too, yeah, I agree. The other thing too, and it works sometimes and it doesn't. If you can balance out either the defense or offense, and the other one is it's not too bad. It's not horrible. You can make some noise. I'm not saying you can win a championship, but you can definitely do something. If you have something that's high powered, and then the other one is just maybe in the middle, you can work with that.
Yes.
But it can't be one is overwhelming the other. It's got to be, they kind of have to balance each other out in a certain way. But I think the future looks bright. It might take a little time. I don't think anything happens overnight, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think Fairfield's future is brighter than it's been in definitely recent years.
Yeah, I definitely like the Alex Hubbard signing for their new head coach. Just instilling a winning culture is really all they need. It's kind of similar to an NFL comparison with the Lions, who have been struggling getting Dan Campbell. At the end of the season, you started to see it kind of turn out well. They won a few games at the end of the year. I think that's what Fairfield's really looking for. Realistically, they've been basically the bottom feeders of the MEL for quite some time, and really just a couple wins could get them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Nothing overnight, like you said. They're not going to really realistically win the MEL altogether, but I think they do have some more hope now with Alex Hubbard at the head coach position. So let's move on to Will C. Wood. You want to go ahead?
That one, I believe he wanted to do Wood, but I can start with it. Wood had an 8-4 overall record, 5-1 at home, and then 3-3 on the road. They were not bad at all at home. Having that home field advantage for them definitely seemed to have helped. And 3-3 on the road, 500, so right in the middle, not bad at all. And then they started losing. They had went on a 4-game winning streak last year to open the season at 5-1, and then they looked to basically it's sophomores and then juniors from last year to come in and basically lead the way, and
Well, talk about the big name players. We'll go to that in just a second. One guy I want to kind of spotlight that maybe not be getting that recognition is a wide receiver / safety, Darius Hickenbottom Lewis. And Lewis is a pretty common last name, but his roots are his older stepbrother is a personal friend of mine, Damon Lewis. He was a running back at Wood for a couple of seasons, and he was the real deal. So I know them. I know how their family works. They're my next door neighbors. They have that football blood in them. He does too, and he's a little bit bigger and taller than what Dame was in high school.
Okay.
I mean, he's someone to look out for sure. And, they have good players, don't get me wrong, but he is someone, do not leave him. Don't leave him under your radar. He's going to be, if he gets it right and he's like his brother, he's got that mentality, he's going to be nice.
Right, making waves.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Wood's definitely in that mix with Vanden and Rod, really, for trying to push for the second place behind Vacaville. I mean, we'll see if they can catch Vacaville. I think Wood definitely has a really good shot at being the 2 or 3 in the MEL. So, speaking of Vanden, let's move on to Vanden, to the former Vanden student.
Alumni.
Well, you are an alumni. You're not a former alumni.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The team I have going and having the best chance against Vacaville is Vanden. I feel like they just came off of their championship win for winning state, which is insane. Coming off of a 13-2 record, and then overall at home they were undefeated. They did not lose a single game, and then they went 7-0, and then away 4-2. So also dominating on the road as well. The team just seems to be very put together. The team seems to know how to win and know how to win consistently, which I think is very, very important for any winning football franchise, but also Vacaville's in that mix as well. And then they're led by Coach Sean Murphy, who feels great about what happened last year, but he's going to leave that in the past where it should be, and basically just getting to a point in which he tells the team, he basically lets the team know, like, look, last year happened and it's gone now, but now it's this totally different year. This team is different from last year, and we can't rely on the seniors from last year and everything. But they do have a junior from last year who's now a senior named Trey Dimes, who is a stud. The man's crazy. He threw for over 60 touchdowns last year, and I really have a good feeling about how he's going to have about his senior year. I feel like this team is set to do great things, really.
I just want to point out, too, we'll be doing a broadcast with Vanden. The game I'm looking forward to will be on October 28th when Vanden goes over to Rodriguez. I think that's going to be a great game. I know, Vanden's kind of more on the up and up compared to Rodriguez, but I still think that's going to be an awesome game. That's one of the games, me personally, I'm looking forward to calling for sure.
Rodriguez still has a chance for sure. They have a chance in every game play, but it seems like Rodriguez or Vanden definitely is the better. It seems like they're the more put together team and the better team, but do not sleep on Rod.
Yeah, last thing about Vanden too, and then we can switch over. They're like Vaca High. Their football program is intact, it's stable, and it's been doing the thing for a number of years. It's not like it's been recently in the last couple of years. They've had the same thing going for years and years. So, those kind of programs, Vacaville, Vanden, those are top tier programs. And we shouldn't expect nothing less, but at the same time, Vanden had a pretty crazy season, so, we can't really sit here and justify that. We expect them to do better, but, I think they're a juggernaut for sure. So we should see, if not a similar record, something at least in that ballpark, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough to replicate that season as it is for any state champion or champion in general. But, they still have their quarterback, Trey Dimes, who, I remember we broadcasted Vanden versus Vacaville. It was a home Vacaville game, and he definitely showed out. He's got really superstar potential, and obviously coming off of state championship. But lastly, we will move on to Vacaville. Vacaville being the top dogs for the last really 5 years now.
Crazy.
Do you guys want to jump in on that?
I just want to say they've been a lot longer than that, because I was in high school a long time ago and they would just demolish us. And not just would, but they were like demolishing. They were
beating up on Vanden too.
I was gonna say there was one year I had they beat Vanden pretty bad, and I was like, this team is practically untouchable. Last season, 8-3, compared to a Vacaville season, that might be a little low to some people. They have diehard fans. There's a couple high schools in Vacaville, but when a game at Vaca High is there, that place fills up like crazy. So, they're very loyal to their fans. 5-0 on the road, as they showed. They held down their home base there. And they just need to be a better team on the road. I think a lot of teams do. And that's not an easy thing to do. But for those top-tier teams, you do have to be better on the road. You have to be good. They were okay. They only lost a couple games, but you want to be better for the most part.
I would say really the blemishes are their non-league games, because going into their league games, they play some really tough opponents in Granite Bay and Cardinal Newman, who they are going to play again this year. And we're actually going to broadcast that Cardinal Newman game, which should be really exciting. But, they haven't lost a league game in over 5 years now. So they're undefeated in league the last 5 years, which is just incredibly dominant. And I would say one downfall for the Vacaville is that they have lost 25 seniors from last season. 25 seniors graduated. Some were all league players, and quarterback Ryan Vaughn, running back Darian Leon Guerrero, who I'm pretty sure was the MVP of the MEL. and linebacker Lucas Sartorio, and defensive end Blake Espino, who is an absolute beast. So they're going to have to look to some new faces. Looks like Brody Fortunati, maybe the guy. And looks like they're also going to go to receivers Brady Mott, who already had a good first game, and running back Gabriel Ellis.
I like Brady.
It's going to be exciting for sure. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Brady, the wide receiver, he is a special talent. I want to see what he does this season and kind of see what kind of offers he gets and where he goes because, he's got some crazy talent. Vaca High, though, are they the favorites? Do you have someone sneaking in? Do you have a dark horse? Do we consider them the favorites? Do we wait?
No, I think they're the favorites.
They're the favorites?
I think they're the favorites, but my favorite, I'm biased, is going to be
That's why I was kind of
That's where my bias
Okay.
is. I gotta support my own high school.
I understand.
But it does seem that Vaca High, they know what they're doing. They're very, very solid and put together, just like Vanden is. So it's gonna be head to head for sure. They're gonna go at it.
That matchup, whether it's at Vanden or Vaca High,
Right.
crazy. It's gonna be energy's gonna be high. Doesn't matter if you're in whatever stadium, the opposing team's gonna have that energy.
Absolutely.
That's what I consider like a classic game. That's a good matchup, a good rivalry. So
I agree. All right, well, now that we've gone through every team, let's take a look at the schedule for our broadcast this fall. It should be really exciting. There's some really good matchups that we kind of just want to go over, stuff we're excited about.
Yeah.
First, I'll go first. Selfishly, I'm really excited on the 23rd for this El Cerrito versus Vacaville game. It's the first time Vacaville play El Cerrito. I used to live across the street from El Cerrito High. They were my rival high school. I went to Albany. So that one should be exciting. Two good football programs. Although it is a non-league game, it'll be one of the better non-league games. We will see.
I have two. The Wood versus Rod game, I feel like is going to be
Yeah.
very, very interesting. I have very high hopes for that, and then obviously the Vanden versus Rod game.
Yep.
yeah, I'm a Wood alumni, so anything watching Wood, even though they weren't that great when I was in high school, but I still I still root. I'm going back. Yeah, I don't know why, but that Rodriguez Vanden game is just super appealing to me. It's just really appealing, and it's not even at Vanden, but I think the Vanden crowd's going to be there supporting.
They played well on the road.
That's what I'm saying, and they're going to be there kind of supporting their team. That energy is going to be awesome, and Rodriguez is kind of that team where they're not bad, but they're not on the top, so they're going to be fighting, and that potentially could be them fighting to get in or fighting for something. So I think that game's going to be good, but it's also going to have an importance for both teams for sure.
Because depending on how Vanden's season goes, that both of those and Broad season, really, they might be pivotal moments. This game might be pivotal for both of them. They're probably going to play their hearts out. So that's why I say it's going to be very, very interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
The next week is playoffs. It's round one.
You're right. The last 2 weeks of the season is Wood versus Rod and Vanden versus Rod.
Right.
And those are the three teams that are going to be competing for probably second place, maybe first place if we see Vacaville drop off a little bit. And I know you have some optimism for Vanden this year, as you should.
Yes, sir.
Another matchup, it's actually going to be our second broadcast. It'll be next Friday. This Friday on the 26th, we're going to see American Canyon take on Rodriguez at Rodriguez. But the next, on the 2nd of September, will be Cardinal Newman versus Rodriguez. They have played each other 2 years in a row now, or this will be the second year they've played each other. I think Cardinal Newman took the last one against Vacaville. But again, one of the reasons Vacaville has been so dominant is their non-league games. They play really tough teams, so then once they get into the MEL, they're already prepared by playing really good opponents.
Yeah, they get proper preparation, and they take those games as we're playing these tough teams. They're not in our division. A division team. And you have division teams where they're on the lower, they're at the bottom, but that's still a division team. So they know you. They know how you work. They know how you operate. You played them multiple times. Right. So technically, those games are twice as hard. And the preparation Vaca High gets, I think I think other teams should take that from their playbook. Kind of prep. Beef them up before you play these big games. Maybe not a Vanden because of how Vanden is, and I'm not pointing anybody out in particular,
No.
but just a lower echelon team that can. You might get blown out the water. That'll build you confidence, though. If you do the right things, that'll build you confidence playing those league games.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep.
But overall, exciting for sure.
Yeah, it should be really exciting. So that's a wrap for the high school football preview show. Should be really good this year. Thank you, gentlemen, Blake and Garrison. My name's Cameron Anderson, and we will catch you next time.